All right, YouTube, what's going on? So 2019, almost mid-May, and I'm on the East Coast right by Cape Canaveral, and you're probably wondering, what's Pete doing all the way over on the East Coast? And my good friend Adam's here with me today from Flying Fox Nursery. He's kind of a rare fruit collector, and I was at his house a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, have you been to Toppy's place yet? And I'm like, Toppy? Who's Toppy? And he goes, Toppy is a 95-year-old man who's a fruit collector on Merritt Island who has like 20 acres over here, and he's got a really old epic collection. Like, you need to check this out, you need to see this. So I'm like, no, I haven't been to Toppy's, let's go see it. So I'm here this morning, and I think one of the most interesting things about this story and why I came here this morning, from what I understand, you know, Toppy's children really aren't too interested in the fruits. You know, obviously he's getting much older, and they have no interest in keeping this farm going. So, you know, unfortunately, the truth of the matter here is that most likely this is going to turn into a development. And, you know, just even the thought of that and seeing all these big, beautiful old trees coming in here and seeing these mangoes and lychees, you know, me being a plant guy, it almost just brings tears to my eyes. It does. It makes me sad to know that there's bulldozers coming in here. So, you know, this isn't a permaculture planting. This is definitely more of an orchard style planting, probably not organic. I don't know any of those details yet, but you know, this isn't going to be here in 10 years. This is going to be leveled. This is probably going to be cookie cutter houses. So I'm here to see what kind of knowledge, you know, Toppy has to share with us. I'm here to preserve the memory of this site. The fact of the matter is, you know, unless somebody has $15-20 million to, you know, buy this and put it into a land trust, a nonprofit, and protect and save this land, the chances of this being preserved and staying as a grove for another 10 to 15 years is probably really slim to none. You know, Merritt Island, we're completely surrounded by water, so ultra tropical, lots of microclimate in this area. But also, you know, that calls for high value, expensive land costs, you know, so, you know, the developers are chomping at the bit trying to get in here, buy this place, you know, drop 20 cookie cutter homes, 80 cookie cutter homes on this, you know, piece of land. So pretty epic stuff going on here. I know you guys want to see Toppy. I'm going to shut up now. We're going to see what he has growing here. I'm seeing mangoes and lychees and coconuts, all kinds of epicness. Hold tight.
My name is Norman Field, but everybody calls me Toppy because when I was young I was all white hair, and they called me White Top, and it got to be Toppy. But they called me other names too.
All right. How big's this property?
I got 18 acres.
How long you been collecting fruit?
Well, I had a very serious accident when I was 55 years old. I was superintendent of construction, and then I had a concrete chute drop on my head, weighed over 1,000 pounds. I'm not supposed to be here, but luckily I had on the best aluminum hard hat there was made, but it tore my brain loose in my head, and my brain flopped around in my head, and of course it crushed my back down and all that. But they said the only chance I had to survive was to try to do something a little bit physically and mentally, because it was terrible. And I got, for 10 years, I got so I couldn't talk. I only stuttered and stuttered and stuttered. I just staggered and fell down. I couldn't do nothing, and that's why I get on the tractor and ride around and do and putter and do this, maybe plant a tree. Didn't have to be brilliant, but I could do it, and it kept me going. And after 10 years, I was so bad I could do nothing. And from 65 to 85, I got 20 years younger, physically and mentally, instead of 20 years older, and now I'm only 94. Never give up.
So we're gonna have a lot of turning on and off of the lawnmower, hopefully not a lot of audio issues today. Toppy is on crutches, doesn't walk very well, so he's gonna be using the lawnmower to go around, probably shut it off, maybe interview him when we get by each tree type of thing. Don't know how that's gonna work out, but I'm sure it's gonna work out awesome, so hold tight.
The mangoes?
Yeah, sure, real quick.
These are cherries, and of course, they're all developed. Zill is developed by Clarence Zill. This is Clarence Zill's wife's Carrie, and you have the Beverly, which is Clarence Zill's granddaughter, and you have the Gary, which is Clarence Zill's son's name. Now, the curry is quite a popular one. This one over here is a Philippine mango, and you see, it don't really produce, but I've had it produce, and it looks like a bunch of bananas hanging on the tree. They have a whole great big bunch in there, and they're all long and yellow, and you think they're bananas. And one young woman, about 30, come from here from California, says, "You got anything that's it's sour when it's green, sour mangoes?" And I said, "Well, somebody told me them Philippines are good." So she came, and it had a big crop out this year. She came and she tasted it, and I said, "Well, try them." She tasted it, and my God, she made the awfulest face you could ever see. She says, "Oh my God, that's so sour and so bitter." She says, I said, "Well, you don't want any?" "Oh no," she says, "I want them all." She took them all, took them back to California. But you see how they drop off here?
Yeah.
We think it's from mangoes are from where it's 90 to 120 degrees. All your other fruits at 32 degrees, if the blossoms are on, you're in trouble. Mangoes, it's 45 degrees, so it goes below 45 degrees. What it does, it puts a birth defect in the mango, and then the tree senses it, and it aborts them all. And that's what you got right here. See them on the ground?
Yeah.
Interesting.
This one here is a real curry. It's a cross between a Valencia Pride and a curry. And
It's a good mango.
some of the people say they're the best mangoes they ever had.
Good mango, man. Yeah,
You know,
I've had it.
but it again, somehow this year it don't seem to have much on them. This is a poor year for this tree.
Yeah, better crop last year?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Kind of lighting me up already. Hope you guys are getting something out of this too.
This is a Samoan coconut from Hawaii, Poipu Beach on Hawaii. And my daughter married a young fellow from over there, and his father had one like this out in front of their house there, overlooking Spouting Horn on Hawaii. And it was like you see, it had a big trunk on it. Picked these great big huge coconuts. I said, "My God, what kind of coconuts are?" Well, them are Samoan coconuts. So I bought 3 of them back, and I planted a couple over there in the open, and this one here, and it went to 18 degrees here, and the other 2 died, but this one didn't. So then I didn't think nothing. It didn't do nothing for many years. It didn't grow. It didn't die. And finally one day my wife somehow went and put some Epsom salts on it, and all of a sudden went boom, and it exploded and grew. And since then I'm trying to make it grow. So then I didn't think anything more of it, but I had coconuts, palms all over out here. And when we had a freezer a few years ago, they all died. This one didn't, and I still can't understand it, how you get a coconut from Samoa that's cold hardy.
Wow.
You know, and I have looked around and tried to find some more of them, and you look on the internet and they'll say, "Oh, these are Samoan coconuts, and the trunk is about this big around, the coconuts are this big around, and this one, the trunk is this big around." They're supposed to be a dwarf one, they don't grow very tall, but it has big and has coconuts like this on it. Tell you another experience I had with coconuts. We used to come to Florida, down to Hollywood, Florida in the wintertime, and I rented a house from one of the fellows there, and he was from Cincinnati, Ohio, and he's fascinated with coconut palms. And so there was some open lot, and he planted one over in his thing, and the fellow said, they'd never done anything. And some old fellow, he was talking to some old Floridian there, and the guy says, "Go to the ocean and get some ocean water and dump on it, it'll grow like hell." And that's what he did, and of course it just boomed.
Crazy.
Wow.
You never see a tropical shore that doesn't have coconuts on it. I've come to find out that carambolas will grow well in the shade better than they will in the sun. Because I planted one in the shade out in front, and I had another one in the back. And the one in the front is 3 or 4 times or 5 times as big now, and produces 10 times the fruit that the one does in the sun. Even in the summertime when the sun is hot, your carambola in the sun, with the leaves will look like they're anemic and get small.
Yeah.
And that it's some of these things had to grow in the floor of the forest.
Understory. I agree. Yeah.
You know.
You heard Toppy. I've told you before, these guys are pretty much wind intolerant and do really well in the shade.
That's a Springfield mango right there.
Those are hard to find anymore.
Now,
Which one is this?
I'd like to tell you a story about that. Springfield mangoes. There was an old lady from Titusville, came every week. She went to the doctor in Merritt Island, and she would come every Monday and get mangoes. And one Monday she came and she says, I want to have some of all your kind of mangoes. So my sister's coming from Ohio, and we grew up in West Palm Beach, and they called us the Mango Girls. And we lived on mangoes all summer long because everybody had them in their yard and they fed us. So anyway, she took some of everything. She came the next week and she says, my sister thought them Springfield mangoes were the best mangoes she ever had in her life. I says, I've got some more of them. She says, I didn't like them. Now, what's the best mango? It's like everything else. It's what people
like, yeah.
People like. It isn't what is the best for everybody.
Not gonna be the same for everyone. Yeah.
This is mulch that the people that trim the trees, Ashpun, come and bring to me. And all I could think of is, I went down to Gene Joiners in West Palm Beach. He was the agriculture agent for West Palm Beach all his life, and he has Miracle Acres down there. And all he does is put mulch around on his trees and that. And I asked him, Gene, what kind of minor nutrients you use? He says, I don't use any. But he says, remember, I use mulch. It's exactly what that tree is to make it grow perfectly. And I went down to Angie Travis. She's about the fourth generation of the Enzi family that grows famous for growing mangoes on South Merritt Island. And I said, Angie, what you do with all the rotten mangoes around under the tree? Oh, she says, I put them all the way back under the tree. If I even clean a mango in the house, I put it back under the tree. It's the perfect thing to make another mango. Nothing can be more perfect than that.
Wow.
These are southern bush mangoes. They look and taste wonderful. The only thing that could be better than them would be a southern girl. I bought the property in '82, in '81, and built here in '82. But I was so poor I could not do much, because when we come here, this is a total jungle. The grapevines was 6 inches of ground and owned everything. And in fact, some of the times when we cut the grapevines off of them, the trees actually, the pine trees and oak trees, some of them actually died because they had not been in the sun and couldn't take the
crazy.
sun.
Yeah, all that shock because you cut the grapevine off.
Some of them took 2 or 3 years, almost died, and they come back and finally grew, but they got accustomed to the sun. Then I met Jerry Hunt, and he was planting citrus, so we planted citrus, which was a proper thing to do at that time, and everything. But then we got our citrus canker and that, and then Jerry and I got going down to the Tropical Fruit Club. Then I had known Zell, but when I first, I thought the name was Zell, so I never could find him.
Z-E-L.
Then finally I found him. Found him in Z-I-L when I see the things that were in the nursery. So then I went down there and used to go down there and buy it. It cost me $1,000 every time I went down there. My father's carpenter contractor, but I grew up in the country. And they always say, you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy. And everything he just had to grow something, you couldn't resist planting it. I'd like to tell you a little story about this tree right here, this lychee tree here. Because when I first was growing them, I keep reading that you should trim them. And that, but I didn't trim them. And this and that, because I can't do all that at the time. Anyway, we had a hurricane, and it broke off a limb about so big up in the top of that tree. And the next year, there's about 4 or 5 things sprung off of that, and that thing was solid lychees. Nothing else on the tree had any lychee on, but that limb that broke off. And that's when I learned, the more you trim them, the better it is.
Wow.
But you trim just a little bit. On the bottom of a lychee tree, you only trim the panicle and one leaf. On the top of it, you keep it, you cut them back as much as you can. The more you cut back, the more it'll be. You want to keep your tree looking like an umbrella so that the sun can get out all the way around. Because if you don't keep that tree, the bottom branches out further than the top, the bottom branches die off, and pretty soon you got that pine tree over there. Now what are you going to do with it? It's up in the air and no fruit. And you look around, these people, they got them way up in the air. What are you going to do? You can't pick them, you can't do nothing. The bottom ends died off. You can't make the bottom ends grow back no matter what you do. Now, a mango tree is the opposite. You can't trim, you don't never want to trim off over 30% of the leaves, because if you trim off more than that, it will grow and grow and grow and won't produce nothing. They're just the opposite. And that's why when it freezes back, then they just grow and grow and grow, and pretty soon they're bigger than they were before. One of the fellows, Eric Proctor, was from Kenya, Africa, and they had 10,000 acres and they grew mangoes and all that. And he says, we trimmed ours all over. He says the old African farmers trimmed their mangoes. They would cut one big branch off maybe every year way back, and the other branches would have mangoes on them, and that's when they grow. And he says they'd have 4 or 5 times any mangoes on ours, because they would cut one big branch off for a year and let that grow back, and the other one have fruit, then they cut another one on that. You understand?
Yeah, rotating the canopy around.
Sapodilla.
This is Sapodilla. You have to be a sap to eat these. This here is one of the better kinds. It's bigger and it has, but you see, even it, if it gets so many sap fruit on them, that'll break the limbs off when they're way out long. You see them?
Yeah.
And this here, probably 2/3 of the fruit has been taken off this tree this year already.
You know the variety on this one?
Look on it. It might have a tag on it.
I can check for you.
Ooh, some studly sapodillas.
Yeah, no, I don't see the tag.
Nice size, wow. You feeling it?
You want me to tell you how to pick a fruit? How to pick any fruit there is?
How to pick any fruit there is?
Huh?
How do you do it?
Bend the stem, right?
You just take it like this, and you take it like this and pull it. See how it comes off? When that comes off as easy as that,
That's how I pick
that
mine.
is ready, and you take it in the house, it'll be right. Help yourself or something.
What's ripening here, Matt? What do you got?
And these ones too, when the skin starts to smooth out, you can tell they're ready too. This, you see how it's smooth? It's not
When
like
I
Sapodillas like a pro.
One I found on the ground.
If you just take it like I showed you, I don't care what it is, any fruit there is that comes off easy like that, it's ripe enough to do. Just don't pull it hard, just twist it up a little bit and pull it. If it comes off, it's ripe enough to take.
I'd like to take one.
Matt, get a couple here. What are you doing?
I'm not greedy. I have a big tree at my house.
What kind you got, Matt?
I have no idea.
It's a seedling of some type.
But it won't quit
They're pretty good.
These are pretty good
It
size
never
ones.
stops fruiting.
These are studly.
I wonder if it's Hacia.
Seem bigger than the Maycock.
Oh, hell yeah.
Or a Lano, or what's the other one that's real popular
Yeah,
now?
Lano, Maycock.
We got lychees getting close. Woo! Absolutely love lychees. Kind of early.
Versus lychees usually start the middle of June, but they blossomed early, and it's going to be sour as hell.
I like sour. I just
Well,
think
pretty good.
Yeah,
Some
good.
people like them.
I like them sugary sweet.
I come from the fruit belt, and we used to always laugh about it because we would get all the apples and peaches that fell on the ground, and they were the ripest and the very, very best. And we took all the green ones and sent them to the city, and the dumb people in the city ate the real green tough ones, and it was crap. And we got all the best for nothing because they wouldn't eat them. This is a Palmer mango, and one thing I found here in the north, the Palmer mango will have mangoes on it when it's cold, but nothing else has mangoes on it. There's only about 3 things wrong with a Palmer mango. It'll have mangoes on it when it's a little tree. It'll have 20 or 25 little mangoes on it, and the tree can't grow. and has so many mangoes on, it breaks the limbs down. And when before they get ripe, they'll be brilliantly violet, reddish purple, and you think, oh, they're ready. But when they finally get ripe, they're not. They're not the greatest mangoes, but they will have mangoes on them when nothing else has mangoes in the north. In the south, you don't hear nothing about them. But here in the north, and when it's cold, or any other year, they will have mangoes on them. This is a poor crop this year.
This is pork. Wow.
And you see and you notice that all the rest of the mangoes are all falling off them. You don't see don't see nothing underneath this tree.
They're holding, yeah.
That's it. If it's cold, Adam's going to plant a mango, you plant a palmer. It's the only one that'll have fruit on it above anything else.
All right, Palmer mango.
This is a Beverly mango, your Zoe mango, Zoe's granddaughter. They come later, and they are very, very excellent mango. These are Asian mangoes, and they don't have any color to them. Only your Indian mangoes has a color to them. These don't have any color, but that don't mean anything to make they taste delicious.
Let me get that pro tip on the mangoes.
About the blossoms?
Now, when you get cold on the blossoms, you don't have any on them. All you have to do is don't cut it off, snap it off. It goes right, it'll grow another panicle and have blossoms and have fruit on it. You can do it 3 times, and even if you got a tree that you would want to take and maybe have fruit at 2 different times, snap the panicles off on one side of it where you want it, and that'll blossom and have fruit later.
Yep.
Cool.
Thank you.
This is a lychee, and it never had lychees on it, only a few over on this limb, because there's a big pine tree over there and a big pine tree here, and it's done nothing except have it. And when we cut down these big pine trees early last year, and now just look at the fruit on this tree, because the pine trees are no longer sucking it dry from its vitamins.
Wow.
This is an Adamoya. It's a cross between a sugar apple and a cherimoya. And they're more cold hardy than your sugar apples, as your sugar apples die at about 35 degrees. These take a little better, but they grow best in the shade, I found, it seems. They're fabulous, but they seem to deteriorate with age again. That's all I can tell you. But they are wonderful. They'll be about that big around and out of this world.
Delicious fruits. I see they're flowering.
The machine costs it.
Yeah. These are some of the avocados that we had that have been struck by the ambrosial beetle and put it on, and it's been a very, very great variation of what's happened to them. Some of them have infected them. Some of them, my best one died within 7 days, and I have some of them that these have affected, and some of them have died back as many as 6 and 8 times, because the immune system in the avocado realizes that there's something wrong, so it stops the sap and kills the tree. And then sometime after 6 months, the immune system will say, oh, it's all right, and it'll grow 2 foot in a month. Then it'll die back 4 foot.
I saw that, yeah.
And then go back. It's crazy.
Did you ever
and
have
none of
one
them.
come out of it?
None of them. Yes, I got some. I can show you over there.
They
Got
recover?
All right, so for those of you that don't know, we do have a problem here in Florida. It's called the red ambrosia beetle. It's called the laurel wilt, and it is affecting the avocados. It's in the same genus and family of the native red bay trees. So driving down the highways, going through some of these forest areas, you'll see dead bay trees. Also going to see some affected avocados. So I haven't seen too much of that north of Tampa in my area. I've seen dead bay trees, not dead avocados. So it's interesting to see that Toppy's seeing that here on the East Coast. Oh, really?
Take a picture of that one.
Huh?
Take a picture of that one. See, look how the
Oh, that little avocado,
the
yeah.
bottom is gone. Now look at all the fruit on it this year.
So, pretty upset looking tree. You can see all that rot on the bottom, and didn't seem to affect the fruit set this year though. That's pretty cool. Look at this. Wow, you wouldn't think a tree with a trunk and a graft like that could set that many fruit, but just goes to show you trees are tough.
This here is the effects of your citrus on the citrus green right here, and them trees over there. See them trees right there?
Yeah, not much left of them.
Yeah, them right there. That's your effect of your citrus greening on your citrus trees. Them big ones there. That one over there is dead completely. This one, you know, they're just left. They just die back.
Oh, you know this is exciting. Jackfruit.
There's a Fortunae longan.
That's the Fortunae longan?
Yeah.
Nice.
Now,
That's one of the prettiest longan.
they love high pH soil. Jerry will vouch for that because I got these 5 of the 4 or 5 of these, and Jerry got one. His in high pH soil up at his place, and his is 4 or 5 times bigger than mine. Your longans love high pH soil, yeah, and your lychees like low pH soil. When I went down to Johnson Cranes, I looked over there, and all the lychees were light yellow, and all the longans are dark green. And I got the same thing. If you look on my other side, I used sand, yellow sand in it, and the longans over there are twice as big as they are on this side, where in low pH.
Oh, big old mulberry.
That mulberry trees is the best one there is in Florida for taste. Ask Jerry. Yeah. Nobody else has ever had.
Adam, what variety is this?
I don't know.
What are you holding back, man?
I don't know. Go purple.
Yeah, it's Tice. I think
Tice?
it's Tice. Yeah.
Tice, okay.
There's something. I don't know if you've got them.
I do, yes, I have it.
Mulberries.
They'll go to 40 birds.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
And this one too.
So we're thinking we have this variety. This is Tice, or also known as Astero Giant. Really good variety of mulberry. Here's a couple more. Whoa. So really good sized fruit on this tree. Absolutely delicious. You know you're not eating mulberries properly if you're not getting stained fingers. So, Oh, I see that in there hiding.
This is my original NS1 jackfruit tree. I haven't trimmed it back, and that's why it hasn't got much on it, but you can see this. One year I had one weighed 63 pounds on this tree. Wow. And that
fruit on there is almost ready.
And when they grow off of the side there, you have to trim all the little trims off of there that have the male branches on them. And just leave so the males come out on the inside, and have all the females will come out on the inside. And when it comes, it has to make a special big branch to hold it. You can imagine a 60-pound one has to have it. And if you look on it, anyone that's female has a little ring around the top of the fruit. Do you know that's a female? I want to tell you about your carambola trees too. You trim the hell out of the top of them, and they will reduce like wonderful. That's one there. Should be all the whole top trimmed right out of it. You see that?
See the reflex.
And then they'll just produce wonderful. Now I've got, these are emperor lychees from China, but I have about 5 different kinds I'm realizing now. They're all a little bit different and all handled different. This one here is one that Jerry and I got, and it's a crazy thing. This is unusual because there isn't anything on it. This is the only year I remember not having any fruit on it. And the thing is, it has 6 lychees on it. 2 of them will be ripe, 2 of them will be rotten, and 2 of them will be green on the same limb. They don't all come, but they're fabulous. That's all you can say. They're named for the Emperor of China and that, but I got some other different kinds that come out. They're different. Yeah, this is a Buon These 2 are Buon. And them two down there, sea shampoo.
I like this sea shampoo.
Sea shampoo?
Yeah, it's good, man.
Longin? Jeez, I've never heard of that one either.
Oh, it's a really good one. They used to sell it. They used to be able to find it, but I can't find it.
Here's another example of that lychee. Never had lychees on it because I had 3 big oak trees here. And now, when I got the oak trees down, I got some sun on it last year. Now I got lychee. This here is a glen tree. It defies everything you know about mangoes because it's right in the shade of that oak tree, and it's still, look, it's the biggest and best one I got. And the wonderful thing is, it blossoms way late. So all the other glen mangoes are gone, and then this one has it. But again, I tried to have trim hell out of it. And this one here is another glen that planted the same day, and you see it's only half as big as the one that's in the shade. So everything isn't exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
They're all good, but some are better than others.
Yeah. It's like picking a favorite child.
The best one is the one you're eating right there at the moment.
This tree here is an example of when you buy a little stunted tree, it never grows. And the same with them big 5-gallon pot and 7-gallon pot mangoes. Don't bother plant them. If you get a little one that's growing and got a lot of leaves growing out, they're young, you plant them, they'll grow and have fruit on them and better that. Too.
Got it.
I don't have the courage to do it first.
I don't either.
Guys, 2 awesome takeaways right there. One, I always get, what is your favorite mango? And Jerry said that exactly right. It's the mango you're eating at that time. All mangoes are really good. It's like picking a favorite child. So, you know, what is the favorite mango? It's whatever ripe, whatever's in season at that time. Sure, some are better than others. Some are more preferred. But when you have a collection and they're all pretty good, you can't just pick one. That's almost impossible. Second thing, it was really awesome to hear Toppy say to plant a small tree. He planted a small tree over here before that was in poor shape. It's never done anything. He's planted big trees. They've never done anything. Small trees are like planting a bomb that's ready to grow and take off. Old trees have been in pots for 5 years. Junk, waste of money. I had a client just call me the other day. They want to drive down here and buy 60 fruit trees from Canada. They've got some 45,000 square foot greenhouse, and they want to bring a semi-load of 45-gallon big trees up north. And I explained to him, I said, you're wasting your money. Sure, we can find you those trees. We can get you those trees. Those trees aren't going to be the most successful. Yes, you might get fruit in the first year, but I think as time goes on, the big tree is going to decline where the little tree is. You can just have a little patience and wait that year or two. It's going to be 10 times better production in the long run. So 2 awesome takeaways that I've always talked about, and it's great to hear it from these old timers, the OGs, the people that have been doing this for a while. I mean, Toppy used to be president of the Rare Fruit Club over here. Both of these guys are still members. I mean, they know their stuff. They've been doing it a while.
You see this Avocado here? You see one side is alive and the other side isn't? That's because we took the air plants off of that side one time when we were going by it, and we didn't pick the air plants off. And you see the little air plants up there? It killed all of them. It killed them.
The Spanish moss?
Them little, no, not the Spanish moss. Them little air plants that grow on it.
Really?
And that's what killed all the ones on this side when we went by. We did it, and we didn't bother to do that side, didn't think nothing of it, and that having a Avocado just because it had them air plants on it.
Wow.
If the tree is happy, it won't get air plants.
Now, but what air plant? Can you show me what he's talking about here?
Because
I think Spanish moss when he says air plant.
Yeah, Spanish moss.
Right above you, Pete. Look at the top of the tree.
Oh.
Those little scraggly ones.
But they get like little ones on the side too.
And that'll take them out. Wow.
I don't know, that kind of looks like...
I thought he was getting budwood, but he's just pruning. So Adam, tell us what you're doing here, man. Come on.
I'm just taking off any of these old nasty branches
now,
here.
You haven't told us who you are. You're kind of like the Central Florida Japotacaba guy, man. Give us a lowdown. Who are we working with?
I own a rare fruit nursery, Flying Fox Fruits, and I specialize in Jaboticaba. I like the Garcinias, Eugenias, and just trying to bring something new, different, rare that you can fruit in a pot or a container or in a place where you normally wouldn't be able to grow it. I'm trying to get everyone excited about growing rare fruit.
So if people want your trees, eBay?
eBay now, man, I'm having
eBay.
trouble keeping up with email inquiries. I've got an eBay store, Flying Fox Fruits.
Okay.
On eBay is the username.
Nice.
And I'm putting them up for auction right now. So,
Nice.
yeah.
So if somebody drops you an email, make sure they put "take my money" in the description. Will that help?
I don't know. I'm having a lot of trouble keeping up with the correspondence.
I get you, man. It's a lot of work.
It is.
Cool, man.
That's a dang raceme jackfruit.
Dang raceme, really. Do you have any advice or words of encouragement for the people getting into this?
Well, one thing, you must remember the population of the world in some places doubles every 20 years. So I have read, and if you figure it out, that in 200 years there won't be a place for man to stand on Earth, even under the ocean. So you better be having something to food to drink. In some of the countries now, a lot of them are starving, so it's awful nice to have something to eat. Learn how to have it and have us eat right in your own yard.
Awesome. All right, thank you very much for the tour and showing us around, and I'll be back for some jackfruit and some lychees.
All right.
Cool.
I enjoyed having come as much as you do. This is what I get out of it, having people come and talk and laugh and learn something about it.
I love it. You've been pounding some serious dirt here over the years. Keep it up.
Keep it up.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this epic tour with Toppy. Big shout out to Adam Stratford for putting me onto this place. I had no idea this was even here. I don't know what to say as far as, you know, what this place is going to be turning into. I can tell you that Jerry's got 30 acres on the other end of the island. He said this is definitely most likely going to end up a development. I wish I had a solution or an idea or a way we could save this. I mean, to be honest with you, it would probably take 10, 20 million bucks to save a property like this in this area. So it's really, really sad to think about where this could be in the future. I hope, you know, just by creating this video here, we've preserved something. We've created some memories. We've definitely gotten some epic knowledge. Toppy had some pro tips like I've never heard before that I wanted to get preserved. Get out there to the world. He's got all kinds of knowledge on lychees and longans and fruiting, what's done well in this area, what does good by the saltwater, propagation techniques. This was kind of like information packed. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Be sure to hit that bell to stay notified. It'll tell you every time we upload a new video, which try to be once a week, sometimes twice a week. And most importantly, pound dirt.